let's talk Pakistani dramas. I have not spoken about this show even once during the course of its run because I was just catching episodes on and off. However, 2 weeks ago I got sick, I stayed home from work and spent the entire day in bed binge watching this show and continued over the course of several days. So this week we are finally discussing Naqaab, which came to an end this past week. This video will initially be spoiler free, so if you haven't seen the show, feel free to hang around until I tell you so. Raise your hand if you hate watched Rung Mahal. Shafia Khan was the writer, and she is also the writer of Naqaab. But it seems she took the feedback that she received, and with Naqaab, she has created a very similar world, but with more characters, more nuance, more depth, and to put it bluntly, a much higher quality show. This is a web of lies, deceit, deception, and manipulation that I genuinely enjoyed, and I'm really sad that it has come to an end. Over the span of 62 episodes, you get pulled into this world and get really attached to these characters. Naqaab follows Iman, a young girl from a small town who comes to Karachi to study and winds up staying with friends of her father. When her love story kicks off with Ahad, she unknowingly gets pulled into many plots and conspiracies against her. The title of Naqaab is perfect because at first these characters are all wearing this helmet of who they want you to think they are, and as the story progresses, you begin to see that no one is what they seem to be initially.
आपका रीजन और नियत दोनों जानता हूँ मैं जानता तो मैं खुद को भी नहीं हूँ.
This is a soap, and like I said, it's an exhausting 62 episodes. I genuinely wish it had been reduced to 40 episodes with a tighter script, and it would have been a gem. But for those who have not seen this show and have been convinced by this video to consider watching it, this is the time to stop watching this video. Naqaab truly takes you on a journey and keeps you guessing, whether it was Iman's love story with Ahad, Iman's equation with Taimur, or Iman's love story with Bilal. I love the layers to these stories, and the beauty of these stories was that it showed what love is and how that concept of love changes over time and with age. Take the Ahad and Iman love story. From Iman's point of view, it was naive, immature, and a love of innocence. But from Ahad's point of view, he did love Iman, but his Achilles heel was his idolation of Taimur. He was unable to move past that, and because of that, he didn't trust Iman. He failed her. On the other hand, Iman had a relationship of respect and friendship with Bilal. But over time, he proved to be her greatest supporter, the man who stood by her side through everything and loved her with all his heart. And then, of course, there was the toxic relationship with Taimur, which he thought was love, but was anything but. And I have really enjoyed debating these love stories with anyone else who has been watching. In the end, there were actually some good messages that this show imparts. One, a girl should never be so naive to not have her guard up. Iman crosses lines, she upsets members of the family, she behaves inappropriately, and these are all things that come back and create havoc in her own life. Two, don't trust your daughters or your kids around anyone, really. Iman's dad couldn't even trust his daughter being in his own sister's home. Why did he leave her with a bunch of strangers? 3, don't put so much importance on what other people think of you. This log kya kahenge concept is so detrimental to society. Iman is accused by everyone in that house and in her own town of being characterless. Bilal is also seen as a loser, but in the end, your life depends on what you do with it, not about what people say about you. And last, having a supportive father makes all the difference in the world. Yes, Iman's father does not train her to be cautious. He raises her to be a slightly badtameez person, but he trusts her character at every step and trusts her decisions. This is needed.
अपना घर बसाने की पूरी कोशिश कर, लेकिन उसे बचाने के लिए अपनी जिंदगी, दिल या इज्जत कुछ भी दांव पर मत लगाना.
By the end, my favorite characters are Musarat, Ahad, and Layla, and my least favorite, Iman. Yes, the lead female character is the least likable character on the show, and she's a hot mess. But I do appreciate that it's acknowledged she is who she is. Honestly, the entire ensemble cast has done such a good job with their performances, and I am honestly, genuinely, truly going to miss this show. I already do. Does this mean this was a perfect show? No. Again, I reiterate, this show needed to be 20 episodes shorter to have made a greater impact. It was dramatic, it was melodramatic, it had a very frustrating female lead, and yet it was so addictive and so enjoyable. What are your thoughts on Naqaab?